Hi, I'm Lauren.
And I'm Kristyna.
And this is our podcast,
Let's Chew the Fat. Hello.
Hi.
Welcome to another episode of Let's Chew the Fat podcast. You know, I realized we never say that. And now I've been listening to a lot of podcasts.
Well, we never say the name. We never say our names. We offer zero
it's
context.
because we have the names in the intro, so it seems kind of
and
weird.
we have the name of the podcast in the intro. We have everything in the intro.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
We're
why
very
we
efficient. No, because I've been listening to a lot of podcasts lately because I've finished watching series and I don't want to start anything else before I go home.
Right.
And so I've been listening to a lot of podcasts and they all are welcome to the new episode of this and this podcast. And
that's true.
We never do that.
But I think we do it we do it in the beginning. Same thing.
Yeah, I guess so.
I just never realized because I never listened to that part. Yeah. Hi. Welcome to another episode. Today we're going to talk about living together and living situations in general. Because at this point we've been living together for almost a year, so we figured why not. And as always, let's talk about our week.
So, I feel last weekend, did we do anything special? I can't remember.
I feel like we did.
Let me see my...
Kristyna.
Eurovision.
It just hit us at the same moment.
Just came to me.
Yeah.
Damn.
We recorded on Saturday. Saturday evening was Eurovision. We went to my dad's school. They did a watching event. And we went there. It was Kristyna's first time watching Eurovision, which was very exciting.
It was very exciting. I don't know why I've never watched it before. I think it's just not as big of a cultural thing in the Czech Republic.
Maybe. I feel like it really depends on the countries. In some countries it's bigger than in others.
I also think parents. Because my parents, I don't think they've ever watched it because they're not as obsessed with music as I am.
It is your responsibility as a European citizen and an Australian citizen. But we watched that. What were your thoughts?
I liked it. I'm thinking I might save it for the last part. Maybe,
oh, sure.
As a cultural thing. I loved it. I loved it.
We didn't read much more.
I'm going to say that. And then we can talk a little bit more about the concept because we do have some issues with the concept.
In the final part?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we did that on Saturday. Sunday.
Also on Friday, the World Hockey Championship started. Yes. So now ever since then I've been watching, basically. And then on the weekend, we were finishing finishing projects. Oh, I remember because
true.
I was Friday and Saturday. Friday, I'm going to finish newspaper design. No, design thinking. And then on Saturday, newspaper design. And I wanted to send it in.
That's true because we had deadlines Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Yeah.
So
but I also wanted to have it done prior because I wanted to already start studying for exams on Monday because I'm going to be working this weekend. So I was working on those projects, which the newspaper design, it was fun.
I had a great time, honestly.
Right?
I was listening to music. I was listening to podcasts. I was designing.
When I compare it to the beginning of the class, when I've never seen the InDesign program before, and now there's still a lot I don't know, but the basics that I needed, I already knew, and it was really fun. I was honestly really proud of my project outcome.
And I love whenever you design something, you go to the preview view and you just look at it.
Yeah.
So that was fine. Other projects, not so much fun, but we got them done.
Oh, and we were doing our learning agreement.
Remember? Oh my goodness. Yeah, we're working on Erasmus, the first step, the learning agreement, trying to find classes at our other university that can validate with classes from ours.
Which, in my opinion, looked so much more scary before I started it than when I was actually doing it.
Yeah.
It took me a long time because I was trying to go through all of the classes and trying to compare which ones could be convalidated.
It took me a lot of time to find the classes.
Me too, but it's not as horrible as I thought it would be, especially because then we send it into our tai, which is some kind of a tutor. I don't know what the
tutor
abbreviation is for. And we got approved almost all of the classes, right? Which I did not expect at all. So that's why I was very scared.
And the most random classes. I mean, I can validate a class about music and mental well-being with a class about writing and publishing.
Yeah, but I mean, the electives are way more flexible.
But I didn't realize it was that flexible. Again, like, it seemed a lot more scary in the beginning because I really thought I would have to find, like, super similar classes.
Yeah.
Also for the electives.
I think it also really depends on what tutor you have.
I guess so.
Like, because it's can validate it by physical people who
can decide themselves. Like, they're not really following a rule book. So, yeah, we were working on that, too.
Yeah, and I was really happy that I got it off my to-do list. I mean, I still have to, like, find that one class, but we have a deadline, like, mid-June. So I'm going to leave that one class for when I go home because now I just want to study. But it was really nice to have it, like, off the to-do list because I remember, like, I think 2 months ago, like, I knew all the things I was going to have to do, like, around this time. Like, the learning agreement. I'm going to be dealing with internship, exams. What did I say? Like, exams. Final projects. I mean, for a little bit, we also thought we were going to have to move. So we were worried that we're going to have to be dealing with that. But in the end, it seems like, I don't want to jinx it again, but it seems like it should be.
It seems under control at this point.
Which I'm very grateful for.
Yeah. So, I mean, that was pretty much our week, I think.
Yeah, I mean, during the week, literally, I've just been studying every day, doing the same thing. I wake up in the morning, I eat breakfast, I go study, I make lunch, eat lunch, study basically until the evening, and then I go to sleep. You know, I thought I was going to be, like, watching movies in the evening because...
I don't have time.
No, me neither. I haven't watched one, and I really want to, but somehow I just study until the evening, and then it's already too late because I want to go to sleep.
Like, I work, I study... And then I still always have, like, a podcast task to do. So then that's what I do in the evening, you know? True. Like, I edit a reel, I edit the podcast. There's always something still that has to be done. I don't know.
That's true. All these, like, mini things that you do during the day.
Yeah.
That's true. Like, a TikTok here and there and a reel. That's true.
Yeah.
And also, like, I do study almost the whole day, but... like, not all the time is, like, productive. You know, I do take breaks when I go on my phone and because it's impossible. And I think that's why I study until, like, the very, like, evening before I go to sleep. Because I'm like, but I didn't study, like, properly. Or, like, I did, but, like, I took breaks. And so I should study. I also try to, like... keep up with these like deadlines that I set for myself, where I was like, these 3 days are for this subject, and so I need to finish like rewriting my notes because I still know that that's not all out of the studying. Like, I still have to recap it at some point, so I know that I have to have this part done. So I'm kind of stressing myself about that.
Yeah,
but it's fine.
No, we're
fine. Surviving.
I feel like we'll see. It's not as bad as like last semester yet.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like draining because it's like 3 weeks of like studying and having exams, and it's a really like long period of time where you know, like, I can't do like anything. I have every day like planned, and I can't put any like more plans into it. You know, when our friend wanted to go out for a drink, I was like, I don't know, I can't because I have to study, and so it's very like draining because every day is the same.
No, we were saying yesterday, like, initially we were like, oh, it's kind of nice that it's spread out on, like, 3 weeks, because then, like, we have a good amount of time to prepare for the first exams. We have a good amount of time in between, like, the first 2 and the second 2, and it kind of gives us, I don't know, it's a nice way to structure the learning, like, without being overwhelmed. But now we were thinking, at the end of the day, now we're just, for 3 weeks, kind of subconsciously stressed, kind of knowing that we should be studying, which can be very draining. And maybe if we had them closer together, which is the case for a lot of other degrees, honestly, that they're going to be done mid-next week with all of their exams, then it would have been a couple, like, very intense days. But at the end, it might have been, like, better. to get it over with.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, if I could choose, which, I mean, we can't anyways, but if I could, I don't even know what I would choose.
No, me neither. I feel like I would choose this, but then when I'm in it, I might be like, because it is also draining doing it over like a long period of time, like just this constant.
Yeah, because honestly, I feel like now we have a lot of time to study, but for some reason, I feel like it's technically the same for me, like if we had it more like squished together, because I'm not as time pressured, and so I'm not studying as efficiently, or maybe I am, but like if I was stressed, I would study more in a day.
Yeah, or like I don't know. Different technique, or wake up an hour earlier or something like that. I mean, in the end, you always get it done. Yeah. So even if we had all the exams within 2 weeks instead of 3, like we would get it done.
Yeah. But I mean, we're trying to make it nice. Like next week after an exam, we're going to go paint pottery.
Yeah, like because we have like 2 exams next week, 2 exams in 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. So when we get the first like half done, we're going to go mug painting. Yeah.
Yeah.
To celebrate.
And then we want to go out to a party, or to party after the last exam, which I mean, yes, but I'm also flying out the next day.
Kristyna said they want to go clubbing, right? And Kristyna, our university is doing this like end of exam party, I guess. I don't know, prom themed. I didn't really get it. And it's from, from 5 to 9 or something like that?
I don't know.
In the evening. And Kristyna sent that into the group chat with like, does this count as a party? A strong no. Strong no from all sides.
That's true. No, I mean, it was a joke, obviously. But, I mean, we've talked about it many times. I don't know if on the podcast, but it just stresses us out going out, because then you're stuck there until the morning because no public transport goes.
Yeah, because we don't live in the center. Yeah. So, like, we're kind of,
But it's going to be fun.
Cut off from our home for a bit there. But it's going to be fun. And
I'm going to go straight to the airport probably.
Yeah.
So, living together. Let's go. That's my introduction.
Thank you, Kristyna.
You're so welcome. I mean, I wanted to start off by saying that, like, I've always wanted to live with a friend, because, I mean, it's my first time living on my own, and I was always dreaming of, like, living in with a friend, and I guess maybe because I was seeing it in TV shows and, like, series, and I always wanted to try it. And I think I didn't know if I would have the opportunity. I don't even know why.
Yeah, why?
I don't know. Maybe I was imagining that, like, I'm gonna live with my parents until I just get my own place and live on my own, I guess.
Does that usually happen in the Czech Republic?
I don't know. Because
I feel like that's a cultural thing too. Like, I feel like in some countries it's very normal to like live at home, like kind of save up your money until you can afford like a good place of your own. In other countries it's more like, oh, as soon as you're 18, like out. Like, I feel like in Switzerland it's very normal to move out early and then like live with your friends and stuff like that.
I think it is kind of common to move out. Like, I know a lot of my like high school friends, or just friends from my life, that they moved out, but I think it's more common to just move out to like a shared flat, but not move out like necessarily like with your friends.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
because honestly that's kind of like a complicated thing for it to like work out, because you kind of need to be at the same point in your life at the same time. You need to be able to, like, you need to live in the same city. So it is kind of, that's true. It's one of those things that might honestly not work out.
But honestly, I don't even know what I was imagining. I think I had no clue, because I guess before Spain, like during high school, I could not imagine, like, I had no idea what's gonna like happen for me in the future. And also I was still, like comfortable at home, and I couldn't see myself just like move out just like that because I knew I was going to be studying, and so I probably can't afford my own place. And so I didn't like get to the point where I would think about it, you know. And then just Spain came, and like everything happened, and I moved into an apartment, like again, shared apartment with strangers.
Yeah.
And then after that, we moved in together.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, do we want to explain our living situation real quick?
Sure.
Because the thing, like, we don't have this flat and we like split the rent or whatever. Like, it's not ours. Like, basically what we did is, it's this apartment, like the landlord lives here and he's renting out 2 rooms, and we're each renting out like 1 room. So I feel like it's also a little bit different than if you're just, because there's like established rules, there's established like kind of,
we can just have parties and friends over every day.
So when it comes to like us kind of, I don't know, creating rules or like boundaries and stuff like that, there's also just certain things that are already set in place. So I feel like it is a little bit different than if you just move into an apartment with a friend, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, that's our living situation. We're both just renting out rooms.
Yeah, and how did we get to the point of living together?
My leg is falling asleep. Well, what happened was, you were already here, like in the first year, you found this room, like even when you were still in the Czech Republic, right? You found this room. I was living in another flat, and then I don't remember. I think you said that the other person in the other room, because at the time there was another student living in the other room who you didn't really know, or
because I almost never saw him.
Yeah,
he never came out of his room.
Yeah. And he decided to move out. So, and I wanted to move out of the other apartment too, because like it wasn't ideal. Details. The landlord wasn't great. It wasn't a great apartment. And he said that this room would become available, and I came to look at it and everything, and we signed the contract and I moved in.
I think what kind of also made you decide was that you could like leave your things here, right, over the summer.
Oh, that's true. That's another thing. Yeah, because moving here is very complicated. And like at first, I lived in a residency for a year. Then I moved in with a friend and a stranger into another apartment. And like in between that, like I went home for the summer and I had to find a place to put my stuff. Thankfully, I could bring it to my dad's apartment. I think most of it. And some stuff I gave to my friend Julia. She took it to her apartment. Then she took it to... It was a whole thing. It involves a lot of planning. And with this place, what was practical was that the landlord said that we could keep all of our stuff in the rooms for the summer. So,
which I love. Yeah. I don't know how people do it. Like international students who study the whole university abroad, I don't know how they do it with their stuff. Like, do they leave it at somebody's place?
I mean, lockers. You can rent lockers or storage room for the summer. That's what like friends of mine have done. But it's still because like you have more stuff than you think you have. Like I walked over here. This apartment.
I remember you were dying because we had COVID at that time.
Well, I was like right out of COVID, and I was dying. Like I could not walk 10 minutes without feeling like I was about to faint. And it was like 35 degrees. And I was dragging these suitcases. It's like a 20-minute walk, 25-minute walk.
Yeah.
And I couldn't just walk once. I thought I could walk once with like 2 suitcases. But in the end, I had so much more stuff. So I had to walk. I think in the end, I walked 2 or 3 times. Not on the same day. I planned it all out. In this heat, still not feeling great. It was the most horrible experience ever. But I mean, thankfully, I didn't have to drag it further. Like the first time around, when I moved from the residency to my first apartment, I had to bring the stuff to my dad, which was a train ride, a metro ride, then a bus ride, then walking. And it killed me. So that's one of those things that I never thought about before moving here.
No. It would not cross my mind.
That has turned out to be quite the problem.
It really is. Like, especially if you have to move apartments, which usually you do if you don't want to pay over the summer when you're not here. And that would be very expensive to pay for 3 months where you're
and
not here
also,
just to
I feel
keep
like
your
most
things
people
here.
don't get the first apartment and then they stay here stay in that same place for 4 years, you know?
Yeah. So I never thought I would... I mean, I didn't have to yet to move my things. I think my, like, next winter, or the winter that's going to come now, I'm going to take most of my things home, or maybe leave one suitcase at my friend's, because then we are going to come back.
Because then we're going on Erasmus.
Yeah. So abroad. I'm planning to go on Erasmus with like one big suitcase and one small one maybe, and live out of that. I don't know, honestly, how much stuff, because
that's fine. That's what I brought the first time. No, the first time I came here, I only have one big suitcase.
That's crazy to me. I mean, obviously you can do it. You just wear a lot of the same stuff. But like my friend Adela, like who's in Valencia, it's hilarious to me. She only brought like summery clothes, and she's struggling because I think
that's crazy.
She brought like one winter jacket, but other than that, like she didn't have sweatpants. She didn't have a hoodie, like almost anything. And she was struggling, so I think she had to buy like one pair of pants, and she's been wearing that ever since, like the same thing over and over again, because it's very windy there, so it's like different, even though the temperature's
she was there in like January. You know,
she was struggling so hard.
That's crazy.
It was crazy to me, and she came only with like one suitcase.
Yeah.
So I don't know what I'm gonna do.
I mean, I didn't like. How was I gonna travel with two?
Yeah,
you know.
That's because my mom came with me, so so she helped me. But like, if I had to like bring it back, if I moved like last year, or like after last year, I don't know. I didn't think about that.
No.
So I'm very grateful that I could stay here and leave my things here. That was really nice.
Yeah, so to get back to the topic, that was a big reason. That's true. I forgotten about that. Yeah. And then I moved in. At first, it was super weird because I was here before Kristyna was here, because Kristyna never arrives when classes start. Kristyna always arrives a little bit later. So I was here, and it was super weird because I felt like, I mean, the year before, I just come here to, like, record a podcast, like, you know, hang out with Kristyna, but I wasn't living here. And then suddenly I was living here, and but Kristyna wasn't here, so I felt like I just kind of broken into her apartment and just kind of invaded her apartment while she was not here. It was a super weird experience. But, I mean, with time, I settled in. I realized that now this is my apartment, too. Yeah.
So do you want to start with the questions? Like our questions?
Sure.
Do you want to start, or should I?
You can start.
Okay. My first question is, I'm very interested in knowing, how's your first year, like not the one in residency, the other one, like different from this one?
What do you mean? Like living in the other apartment versus living in this apartment?
Because like you've lived with a friend before, and a stranger before, and now here with me, like what's the biggest difference you see? Where's my tea, by the way?
It's right there.
Or do you see it as like very similar?
Oh, actually, no.
Oh, okay. Like, actually.
But I don't know how much it has to do with like the situation or with you. But
let's hear it.
Maybe it's all your fault. But I feel like there's less, like, in my other flat, we used to hang out more in like the living room. We used to have like watch like series and stuff. We used to like eat more together there and like hang out more in the common space. But again, that might have to do with the fact that we don't really use the common space here.
I think so. We only use it for studying.
Yeah. It's connected to bad memories. But I think maybe that's the biggest difference, that here I feel like we're a little bit more like separate in our rooms, and when we do hang out, like I come to your room, annoy you with stuff. especially when I'm doing the learning agreement, or like you come to my room and stuff like that. But there's less like, oh, just casually meeting up in the living room, you know. I mean, sometimes in the kitchen, and sometimes when one of us is cooking, the other will just hang out there and eat their food or whatever. But I think probably due to the situation that here we're just really renting out the rooms and then kind of using the kitchen, but that's it. I feel like that whole like atmosphere is a bit different.
Yeah. No, I can imagine because, I mean, it's mostly because the landlord isn't living here and he uses the living room a lot. And so I don't need to like hang out there with him. And he's usually like watching TV or something.
No, and I feel weird like when he's watching TV, I don't want us to like it feels weird to me for us to then be sitting there talking, you know?
Yeah, definitely. So that's why we hang out more just in our rooms.
Yeah.
That's true.
So maybe that. What was your number one concern before like us living together?
I have to say I didn't have any concerns. Remember, we had a whole debate about that where we're like when you were deciding if to live here or somewhere. It's like, I don't know, like what if we
hate each other?
Yeah. And I was like, no, it's going to be fine. Like as long as we communicate, I think we're going to be fine. So I don't think I had any like specific concern. Let me think for a second. But
I mean, my concern was that we would hate each other.
Yeah.
After like a certain amount of time.
I really don't think I was worried about anything. I had one thing, but it's not necessarily connected to living here together, but you living here, which I was scared that you're not gonna like hate the apartment because like I was already used to the situation with like the landlord living here, and like I've already lived here for a year, so I like knew everything. But I was scared that you're not gonna like it, and you're gonna like, and it's gonna be my fault, you know, because I was here and you like moved in here,
right,
you know,
yeah,
because you didn't love the apartment, but like the circumstances,
was just the best, like.
Yeah,
I couldn't find any other apartment. Yeah, because like me and my other friend also, we were trying to find apartments, but it's very difficult in this freaking city to find apartments. And then Kristyna offered this place, and it wasn't like my dream place, especially since like I would have preferred us to have just like an apartment for ourselves, obviously. But I mean, given the circumstances, it was the best place. So I was kind of like, it should be fine. And I mean, I can live with Kristyna, so it's probably fine. Yeah. No, I get that. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Other questions?
Oh, my turn. I have one that I don't know if we're going to come up with the answer, and it's kind of a question for the both of us. And it's like, what did we learn from each other by living together? I would say, for me, I feel like I got a little bit more inspired by your cooking. You know, like buying red onions.
That is quite, yeah.
I also, it's one very specific and technically stupid thing, but you know the red thing that we had in front of the bathtub, what is it called?
Oh, the
mat?
The shower mat?
The shower mat. I learned to put it up because I saw you do it, so I was like, well, I'm going to do it too.
Do you do that too? Yeah, because, that's true. In the beginning, you wouldn't do that. No, because it just bothered me that, like...
because it's, like, behind the door, kind of,
It's behind the door, and then also when we walk in there with shoes, maybe, like, we step on it, and then...
I wouldn't step on it, but...
I felt like sometimes I would, like, accidentally, I don't know, when I was, like, quickly washing my hands on the way out or stuff, like, they're filling my water bottle on the way out, and I was like, it's kind of gross if I stand on there with my shoes, and then we stand on there barefoot. Okay. That makes me happy. I would say cooking in general, yeah. I feel like we cook quite different. Like, we have different, like, go-to...
Yeah, definitely.
Go-to recipes, and I feel like I've adapted, like, certain things. I feel like... Oh, I was actually thinking about this yesterday. I feel like maybe a little bit self-discipline, but not in the sense of, like, forcing yourself to get stuff done. I always force myself to get stuff done. Like, it's that's fine, but like I feel like you do things very efficiently. Like when something comes up, like you get it done. Whereas with me, like if I were to be doing something and then something else would come up that could maybe be done in 10 minutes, but I was like, no, like now I'm already doing this. I can't mess it up by like doing this. Like you, when something comes up, you just like do it. Like you're like, oh, now we need to send an email. Let's just quickly send this email and get it over with. And I feel like I've adapted that a little bit to like get the small things out of the way, and not let them like pile up.
Yeah, that's true. Amazing.
I mean, this one's kind of stupid, but maybe you can come up with a good answer. Like, what is the biggest difference for you living here than living at home? Besides just obviously different people, more people, less people, but like more like the situation as it and the way you live in it.
I think I am way... I was going to say I'm way more organized, but I don't think I was less organized before. I think I just have the space here to be organized, you know, because like my room is just my space, and technically like the bathroom, it's like our shared space, but I feel like in this sense we're like in a similar vibe. I don't know. So like here I can do things as like I want to. I think that's the like biggest difference, because back home I would want to do things a certain way, but like the house,
something would always get in the way.
Exactly. I mean, people mostly, to be honest, because like I have 3 sisters and we're all completely different. And like the last year I was living at home, I finally had my own room. But up until that point, like I shared room with my sisters all the time, like with one sister, or another room with like, it was a complicated situation. But like I would never have my own space. And so here I think I finally had the opportunity to like do things as I want to, and I love it. Like I wash my laundry when I need to. I don't have to wait for anyone and like ask like, does anybody want to wash clothes, because they take forever to like respond or to find things to put there. You know, so I just really love doing things when I want to, how I want to. And I think in that sense, I'm kind of like blossoming. I kind of feel like, and I feel like a proper adult. You know, when I was washing my clothes again a couple of days ago, I was like, I'm such an adult.
Nothing makes me feel more like an adult than like hanging up my clothes.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit annoying because we don't have like the normal.
Oh my god, it's a workout.
And it takes so much time, like, because I'm too lazy to put the thingies down on the balcony. Off of the...
You don't take them down?
No, I stand on the chair and I try to... Because I don't know. It seems easier.
I mean, not figured out a good technique, though.
How?
So that... Like, you take... Okay, I don't know how to describe this. But it's one of those thingies where, you know, you have the bars where you hang it up... like
from the ceiling.
Yeah. And then you need to, like, take...
a string and unattach
it. And then it comes falling down. And we have this, like, piece of metal that we can then go up and, like, take the string down again. So the bar goes up again. There we go. What I've started doing is I already take the metal piece connected to the string when it's going up. So then... I don't have to like go finding. I don't know. Yeah. Maybe you always did this, and but I would have so many issues trying to find the string again with the metal thing, like because it's so high up and I'm not tall enough. So
yeah, and then we have this like one small one that we have in the bathroom and take it out usually for like socks and underwear, and it's like this triangle thingy. I don't know. It's not fun. I miss like the normal hanger thingy, the big one on the floor. Those were the days.
But yeah, no, I agree with you. I feel like even like having like a routine and a plan for the day here is easier. Like I can wake up in the morning and I can be like, today I want to do this, this, and this, and I'll probably get it done and it'll probably be fine. Whereas at home, there's always going to be something, somebody, something that comes up, and there goes my plan, you know? So
yeah. I think also like another thing is kind of because there's less people living here, and so you get more things done, I feel like, because back home, like people come into your room, or you go out to talk to somebody, or, you know, something is happening constantly. Whereas here, we're just on our own, besides, like,
and also normally, like, when you're stressed out, I'm stressed out too. Like, it's not going to be like, because at home, it'll be like, oh, I have a super stressful day, and my sister has a day off. So then she comes into my room. She wants to do stuff, you know. Whereas here, usually, like right now, we both have a lot to do. Well, we both have a lot to do. So I'm not just going to show up to your room and be like, hey, like, let's talk for 2 hours. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I feel like that helps too, that we're kind of on a similar schedule in that sense.
Now for the spicy things. Is there anything that bothers you? Something that I should improve, do differently. I mean, we had this kind of talk a little bit ago, so I don't know if there's any like new things.
Well, there's a whole list. Let me think. Did I come up with something when we talked about it? I don't think so. Well, great.
I mean, you know, I started putting the bathroom mat thingy up automatically.
I know, I didn't even have to ask. It's crazy. I honestly don't think so.
I feel like we're in a pretty good sync.
Yeah.
With like not colliding in the bathroom, in the kitchen. I feel like in the kitchen it was a little bit of a struggle because we like we would finish classes at the same time, and so we would come home
and always right before mealtime. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
But this semester not anymore. Not so much. I think it also has a lot to do now because you will stay on campus and eat and then go to body cross.
That's true. I feel like last semester it was
we have more kitchen collisions, yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, we always manage somehow to divide.
It's just a tiny kitchen.
Yeah. But I mean, honestly, I am very grateful for our kitchen now because when I was in Valencia to visit my friend, like the appliances, everything was horrible.
What do you
mean?
Like
she would have to fill the whole pan with oil just so it doesn't, I mean, it would stick anyways, like the meat or whatever she would cook. Like it was horrible. They didn't have like basic appliances basically, and it was insane.
I mean, it was just one of those student flats, no? That they probably just rent out to like Erasmus students mostly, so they probably
but even like even the basic things they had, like pots and pans, it was of horrible quality. Horrible quality, because they had the induction stove, which we have, but for that you have to have the correct pots and pans, otherwise it doesn't work. And so they had like the old ones which don't like work with those, so it's very like difficult. I was like, how have you been doing this for such a long time?
And she makes great food.
Yeah.
I see it on Be Real.
They also don't have the kettle, which I mean, you also didn't have in your apartment.
Yeah.
But I was thinking,
I didn't have a toaster and I didn't have a kettle.
Didn't we go buy one to get? Where did it go?
I think I gave it to Julia. I couldn't fit it in my bag for. That was one of those things that I had to like behind. Yeah. That and the mattress. Because
that for me, like, everybody in the Czech Republic owns one. Like, I've never gone into a household that wouldn't have one, but I realized here it's very uncommon.
Because like my flatmate, she would also heat up the water in the microwave.
To not have it. Sorry, I said it wrong.
To not have it.
I think I said uncommon.
Oh yeah,
I don't know what I said.
It is uncommon to have it here. Yeah, but I think it's just a different, like, my flatmate would heat up the water in the microwave. So then I guess
crazy.
You do it like that. I don't know. It's just,
I mean, obviously you can do it in a pot on the stove, but it takes longer. It takes
more time.
Yeah.
Then you have to, it's a lot of extra steps. Come on.
Also, very small mugs, like for teas, coffee, whatever. Like, I need this size. For the people listening only with audio, it's bigger than my hands. Yeah. But I feel like that's just like the flats that because my other one was also just a typical like student flat. Yeah. And that's just, they don't invest a lot of money into it.
No.
Because I mean, for me, it is a little bit weird because like what's the word? Like, you buy the stuff once for the apartment, and then you can keep renting it out, and, like, the money comes back, you know?
I mean, it's highly...
profitable?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know why they can't put the money... It's not like they have to buy new things for every new batch of people that live there, you know what I mean?
No, but I think they just want to make money and invest as little as possible back into it. Because they also usually charge a lot more than they could for a quote-unquote normal apartment, you know?
Yeah.
It's just... We could do a whole segment about this, too. But I don't know. They kind of take advantage of it, I feel like. Mm-hmm. What's, like, one rule, like, when living with friends... Or, like, when living with me, I guess. What's, like, one rule that you can live... Or, like, one thing that needs to be, like, respected?
That's a really good question.
Or, like, if I started doing one thing, like, you would have to be like, Lauren.
Stop.
Could you stop?
I don't know. I feel like I haven't gotten into a lot of, like, bad situations where I would realize, okay, this is like a rule for me, you know?
Yeah.
I feel like what might be annoying to me is like if a person makes a lot of noise in the evening because I want to go to sleep.
Because you go to bed early.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if I consider it early. Maybe, I mean, for Spanish people, yes, but like with everybody.
My other flatmate used to be like cooking dinner at midnight.
That is insane to me. Because like where I come from back home, like everybody does this similar thing to, I mean, not everybody obviously, but like, you know, my friends, my sisters, like we all go to bed around 10, 11.
I mean, it is pretty normal. I feel like if you then wake up to go to school, to go to work, because you're going to wake up at like 6 a.m.
So I guess that would bother me. Yeah, because then I couldn't sleep, but I can't come up with anything else. Also, I think, like you said, it's different since we do have a landlord here and like the rules kind of have been established for
certain
us.
Ground rules, yeah. In terms of cleaning too, like we didn't have to sit down and be like, you clean this, then I clean this. Like that was given.
I mean, maybe another thing would be if we were living in like an apartment by ourselves and then we would split like the costs and like the, what are they called in English? Gastos. I can never remember.
No, because
like electricity, water, gas, like these things. I don't know what they're called. I think I could not live with somebody who would like waste these things, basically, you know, who would put 3 pieces of clothing into washing machine and do a whole cycle, or like keep lights on, because I was also like taught when I was a kid and like I was living in my parents' house, like I would always have to turn off the lights.
I would have to pay 50 cents if I left the light on.
I mean, great learning
my dad
technique.
Was like, then you pay for the electricity bill, you know?
Yeah. So we were always like taught to turn off the light and not to waste water, because I'm a person who like showers pretty quickly as well. And so like last year when my roommate would shower every morning of the day, every morning for like 20 minutes, I was like, dude, what are you doing in there? You know? I mean, that's obviously crazy. If I'm washing my hair and stuff like that, but like guys with short hair, it's like 2 minutes. And yeah, so I think, because then like you're splitting.
He was doing that in the winter too?
I think so. Thank you.
Because like, I mean, I did not shower here in the winter. I mean, I did. Let me clarify. But like, I would just be in there, wash my body, because the water was so cold and everything was so cold. That's
true. It was weird.
So I can't imagine standing under that water for 20 minutes.
But he was showering with cold water.
Oh my God, for 20 minutes?
I guess so. That's why I'm like, I don't know what you're doing. Well,
at least he was using only cold water.
I guess so. I mean, I don't know. But I know the thing is, I don't know if just cold water or if he put in a little bit of the warm, you know, because we have this like old system of the water temperature.
You mix the warm and cold to get like...
Yeah.
Which in the winter, you put it to the hottest and it's still cold.
Yeah. So then when you're actually like splitting the costs, because now we're just paying a fixed price to the landlord.
Yeah, that's another thing that we're like...
Yeah. So then we don't have we don't fight about that, you know, because we have it fixed and that's that.
That's the thing. We have less like opportunity to fight. No, because we don't have that. We also don't buy like garbage bags that could be wasted. True. We don't buy the stuff for the. Well, I guess that we could buy separately anyway. The like laundry, detergent and stuff like that. That's true. But there's a lot of things that we don't buy, so there's less like space for conflict. So we can
make an updated episode at the end of the 4th year. Maybe we'll have more to tell.
Yeah, I don't know. One thing that's just for me that I feel like is important and that kind of scares me about moving in with strangers. Maybe I don't know. In Australia, I don't know what I'll have to do.
True.
It's just the fact that like I work from home. And that possibly, I don't know, people would be loud. People would like, I don't know, barge into my room, like interrupt me while I'm working and stuff like that because it's work. Like to me, it's like more important than university. Like when I'm doing assignments, when whatever, like barge into my room, I don't care. But when I'm doing work, like it's important and I need to get it done. And so I would be worried that I would somehow be like, I do need them to like whoever I live with to like respect that and yeah and like be quiet during that time and you know I mean I don't need complete silence but just to not barge into my room basically so I feel like that's one thing. Oh, I thought you had an idea.
No, I mean I didn't want to give off the vibe that like we're the perfect roommates and perfect friends and whatever, because obviously we are not. Nobody's perfect. We did have certain issues, like we had to like sit down and like talk about things. But like I said in the beginning, where last year I was like, as long as we communicate, we're gonna be fine. And I think like that's the number one rule. Like you should communicate as best as you can, because I mean that's how you solve things, right?
Yeah. Sorry, I just went blank. No, that's true. Yeah, because we've had like minor conflict.
Yeah.
But the thing is, they weren't really related to us living together.
No.
I mean, I feel like they might have been just because we spend more time together that way. So like indirectly, they were connected to us living together.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I mean, we never really had like a big fight like that.
Yeah.
Because at some point, one of us would always force themselves to be like, hey.
We have to talk about this.
And then we would do that and it would be fine.
I don't think, like we said, I guess that's why we can't find like an issue what would bother us by living together. Because like I said, I think we're on like a similar wavelength and like we do things kind of similarly.
We live life kind of similar.
Yeah. But I think it does like stem from that because like we do spend a lot of time together. We film a podcast every week.
Classes.
Like when we go, classes, when we go to school, like we start at the same time, we finish at the same time because we have classes together. Then if we do something with our friend group, like we do that all together. So we did have to like establish a couple of rules where we're like, you know, we can like have time for ourselves when we, for example, go to university. Like we don't have to walk together because I mean we had classes where we have to keep up with like news and stuff, so I would be listening to a news podcast, which you can do if you walk with your friend.
Kristyna leaves super late. Stresses me out.
That's true. So you can like do those things when you walk together, but you're gonna end up talking to each other, you know?
That's the thing. I always have something to say.
Yeah. So that's when I was like, you know, because you leave earlier anyways, and you would be always waiting for me the whole way. So I was like, you know, you can go. You don't have to wait. It's fine. So like we would do that. I don't know if there's anything else.
No, and just like the rule of like if something bothers you, like mention it.
Before it blows up
as quickly as possible.
Yeah,
I feel like that's helpful.
Yeah,
because otherwise, like you have the one thing that annoys you, then everything else starts to annoy you.
Exactly. So it's better to get it resolved and just
which is not fun.
No, like it's a very difficult conversation to have.
That sounded so serious.
No, because I mean, like I've had a couple of like these difficult conversations with my friends, like in my adult life. I don't know. And it's very difficult. And when, you know what I realized? I don't think we're taught to know how to do this.
No, not at all.
Right?
No.
So I remember like one conversation I had, I think it was this winter. Was it? I feel like it was this winter. I don't remember.
Let's go with that.
With my friend, because some things were happening. Like we had some issues in our like friend group, but we did the difficult thing. Like she did come to me and she was like, I know we need to talk. And like we expressed like what issues we're having, like viewpoints of the both of us. And we were like, okay, so this is how we can like make it better. And like you said, those conversations are not fun, especially the step
of bringing it up.
Exactly. That's the like most difficult one. And I think for me, why those are so difficult is because I'm like, I know what I need from the other person. I know what to say, but I don't want them, like, I don't want to hurt their feelings, because it doesn't mean that I don't like them anymore, or, you know, it just means that I have these issues, but we have to like resolve them. But it doesn't mean that I'm not going to be friends with them anymore or anything like that, you know? So I think that's why it's like difficult.
No, for me, it's also always like, I'm always scared of like being over dramatic and like oversensitive maybe. And that like the thing that I'm bringing up really isn't that big of an issue. And I'm just being like weak and oversensitive. Yeah. So that like for me, it always takes like, I'm always like, should I not? Is it worth it? Is it not worth it? So that's why I feel like that first step is so difficult.
Okay, let's do book club. Again, it's more like a culture club at this point.
This point is very far.
So do we quickly, I emphasize. No, I mean, it's fine. Talk about Eurovision?
Yes, let's go.
Oh my gosh, if I have to. My biggest issue, I mean, I guess it was everybody's, was the thing what happened with Sweden. And my perception of Eurovision was that obviously it's like a competition between countries, but I thought it's an opportunity for like artists to be shown, basically.
Do you want to explain what happened with Sweden?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you go. You have more right to do that.
Well, basically, to summarize it, the same artist, Loreen, that won already a couple of years ago for Sweden, won again for Sweden. And I feel like people were upset because it was the same artist that won for the same country. And well, also I feel like she wasn't necessarily like a fan favorite. She got a lot of votes from the jury, but I feel like other acts got a lot more votes from the public, and I feel like that's also always represented in the way that people then react.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong, like I loved that song and I loved her
great
performance.
Vocals.
Yeah, like I love the whole thing. I just don't like that she was already in the competition and she won.
Yeah.
I think there should be a rule where you can go just one time, or
so
at
another
least,
person should have had the opportunity
exactly,
to win to
or
another
at
country.
least if you don't want to be as strict about it, like a person who won can go again. But
right,
I still would do it, go only once.
Yeah.
You know, because like there's so many artists in the world and like they all deserve this opportunity.
Yeah.
So I think it should always be like a new person and like let them have the opportunity of being discovered or like.
Yeah, because even if you don't win, it's just a way to have a platform and get your music out there and have new people and introduce new people to your music. So even just for the experience, I feel like it should be people that aren't already like known, you know?
Exactly. I just thought of a thing. Like, what if Australia wins one day and everybody's gonna have to go so far?
Yes, but they're never gonna win.
Okay.
No, because I feel like they don't have enough like connections within Europe to win.
Oh, okay.
I mean, they have 0 neighbors.
I mean, they would have to be voted by the audience, right?
Yeah. I mean, if you get like all of the jury points, it's not enough to win if the audience doesn't give you points. So I don't think that's ever going to happen unless like, I don't know. I don't know. Okay. They sent 5 Seconds of Summer. I don't know.
Yeah. So I mean, I loved that, but I had this issue with that. But I mean, I loved it.
But what was like your like compared to what you expected it to be?
I think
what surprised you positively or negatively?
I think it was exactly what I was expecting. What I was worried about though is that there would be way more like talking in between the songs. And I was like, because I think you told me that it's going to be like 5 hours long or something. And I was like if they talk in between, like, but then in the end I was very positively surprised that it was like one song after another. Like that was great.
And I feel like it was more efficient than other years. But maybe it's just in my head, but I feel like they did less like decorating with like little like fun segments in between.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was still 4.5 hours.
It's still
insane, like including the voting and everything. But no, it was fun. It was a fun experience as every year.
I just maybe thought it would be more in general. I don't know, like, but maybe it depends on like who you're watching with, and like if there's like an event where everybody, because like there were Spanish people at the event and they weren't as much invested in the actual thing.
Yeah, a lot of people weren't that invested. Like there was a lot of talking still happening during the like not really watching the performances.
Yeah. So I guess it would be different maybe to watch it with like people who are passionate about it.
I mean, for sure, if you have like I don't know,
make a game out of it, guessing who's gonna win and stuff like that.
I mean, we also had to leave earlier because there was a guessing game and like the thing where you get a country. We had to leave early because we had to get back home, so we had to leave before the final results were in. So the final results we watched from bed.
Yeah,
but yeah, I think it depends. Like me and my family, we always did. My family and I, we always did. Well, my dad, my sister, and I, we would always like write down who we think was gonna win and like our top 10 and stuff, and then we would have like a whole point system, and then one of us would win like the predictions, and like if you do stuff like that, it adds to it, obviously. Yeah.
And song of the week. Yes.
I'm torn.
With the songs?
Yeah.
I mean, I may, remember how I said that I don't remember which month it was. Was it March? I had a month where I had so many songs. No, it was earlier than March. I feel like it was like last semester. And I had so many songs, like new songs for that month. But this, like, were maybe in the second, third of the month. And I already have 30 songs for May, which is insane.
And May has been good.
And it's just, like, I thought I don't know, like, I've been so good at, like, discovering new music. Not lately, like, for the last couple of months. And I guess I thought it's just, like, a thing that everybody does. But I guess I got my, like, tricks, how I discover new music. And I do them even like subconsciously and all the time, because like I was on a call with my friends and they were like, oh, I need some new music. Like I keep listening to the same things, and I told them like I have new songs every month. I have a whole playlist for that. And I guess it's not as common. I don't know.
But do they have Spotify?
Yeah.
Huh? Because I feel like Spotify kind of does it for you. Like the way it kind of extends your playlist. Like if you do that function, it gives you similar songs to the songs that are already on your playlist. Then I mean, what I love is the song radio. When you have a specific song that you
that
like,
is
and then
amazing.
That I love, and I found so much great music with that. Then obviously the playlists that it creates for you are also great. Although sometimes I get a bit annoyed by those because they just put music in there that you've already saved, which I don't quite understand.
That's true. But I've been listening to Noah Kahan this week a lot.
Have you?
Because I think it's great music for studying.
I mean, that's a bit insulting.
Why? It just has like a great atmosphere for that.
Okay.
Like I would say his music, like all of his songs have like a similar style,
Yeah.
So in that sense, it's not like you have this very slow song and then all of a sudden it's like a crazy song.
Okay.
You know, like it's a similar.
And I guess
like,
the rhythm maybe like is
and I really like it.
That makes you happy. You know, he just announced like the extended version of Stick Season, the album.
Mm-hmm.
The extended version is gonna come out on June 6th.
But what is extended version? Like more
it's
songs?
It's just more songs.
But I don't understand the whole concept. I was thinking about this yesterday, like the whole concept of making an album versus releasing singles or doing an extended version. Or, you know, Liz Capaldi, before this new album came out, which, by the way, we didn't mention yesterday. We did like a listening session.
Oh, yeah, we did a reaction.
It's going to be on TikTok. And he, I guess, released like a version of the song, I think, Wish You the Best, with like different versions of the song. And so I thought the album was out every time I went to Spotify because it was like new release from Lewis Capaldi. And I was like, ugh, these things annoy me because usually I don't like listening to other versions, sometimes like an acoustic version, very sometimes. But like when they have remixes and things like that.
No, not
like,
remixes, but sometimes they do like a piano version, acoustic guitar version. I like those.
I don't know. I'm just like, a song is a song and here you go.
I think a lot of it has to do with TikTok too.
I was going to say like there's artists release a lot of their songs like as a sped up version now. Because they say that if you get a sped up version on TikTok, you're famous or like your song is like...
Well, but oftentimes I feel like the song will get sped up by somebody to use it for a TikTok. But then people love it so much, then they release it.
That's what I meant. Yeah.
I thought the other way around.
No, this way,
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like a lot has changed with like TikTok and the way that music is released. Like even just that a lot of people release like more EPs than albums, I feel like.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm very excited for the extended version.
Okay. Your song.
Okay.
Tell me.
I am conflicted about this, but I'm just going to go with this one song. It's called Older Than I Am by Len and Stella. And it's an older one. By older, I mean maybe 4 years old. Mm-hmm. And I've been listening, like I listened to it right when it came out and I rediscovered it like 3 days ago. And I love it. Mm-hmm. So go listen to it.
I'm also torn because like I said, I discovered a lot of new music. But I'm going to go with Gone by NF and Julia Michaels. And it's from his newest album, but I don't know how I missed this song. Like I listened to his album many times to the new one and I just missed this song. I don't know.
How weird.
I don't know, but my friend said the same thing. So maybe it's a common theme. I don't know. And I love that song. It's amazing. Go listen to it.
Great.
Oh, and now for your... What is it called?
I don't even remember which songs.
Me neither. Let's see. For punishment, I was going to say. Last week, my song was Out of My League by Aiden Bissett. And yours was Unfinished by Noah Cyrus. And I won for like the second time since we've been doing this.
Horrible.
And so I might have you rap.
Lazy. She can't even come up with games anymore.
I mean, you haven't done that yet. I did it as the first thing.
Okay.
So, let's see. I'm going to give you also like three words. That's enough, right?
Sure.
Do you want them written down?
Yes, please.
It's going to be league, obviously, since it's in the song. Falling. And mind. Okay. Here you go.
Okay. I hate this. The worst part is that we don't even have like a beat. Mm-hmm. Can you beatbox?
I cannot. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Do you want me to clap or something?
Yes. You're such a freak. I'm out of your league. You're balling. I'm balling. If you don't mind, I'm gonna go find.
Woo! I mean, I think you were better than me, honestly.
I don't know. I messed the last line up.
It's okay.
I wanted to say, you will find. You will find. I'm out of my mind. And then you
should write a song.
I hope you don't mind. I've tried.
I mean, I want to write a song over the summer because my friends have like a recording studio
That's such a random goal. Kristyna has so many goals for this summer.
I know. I mean, I wanted to do it last summer already, but I haven't, and I want to. Because ideally, I would write one either with my friend who loves to sing as well, and she's in a band, or my singing teacher, like the mom of the baby I babysit.
In my band, we used to write songs, and it was honestly a lot of fun.
And I really want to, like, that's one of, like, you know, I have my life goals, write a book, write a song, and I think it's just because I miss singing.
But somehow, yeah, same. I miss all of it. I miss band, I miss choir, I miss having a piano somewhere near. No, but I feel like it's more difficult when you're I mean, obviously, I feel like that's why usually people write in, like, teams, you know, like professional songwriters. Because I feel like in band, like, we used to just, like, you know, somebody would play some chords, somebody would play some, it would just come about when you're just by yourself. I feel like you get into your head too much, and I don't know. But it's fun. So not rapping, though. Not rapping.
So that's it for this week's episode, and see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening. We hope you enjoyed this episode.
If you want to get in touch, you can find all of our information in the description below.